The SAMBa program is different from a standard PhD because you get the first year to explore and define the question that you're going to answer for the rest of your PhD, like the next 3 years.
You've got the first year where you take some courses.
That does allow you a little bit more time to figure out what your research interests are.
You get to learn about many different areas.
There's a lot more structure in terms of sort of people around you that are helping to sort of guide you.
And during that time, you will build a PhD that's right for you in particular.
You get that extra time, and that's useful for expanding your mathematical skills, but also for making the connections with other people in the cohort.
It's a really nice way to just get to know people in the cohort. You're sort of in a little group in a lot of cases, so you feel a little bit more involved. And yeah, it just helps you sort of settle into the course in general and to the university. But yeah, it's a really nice opportunity to just kind of bridge the gap, I guess, between undergraduate and PhD.
In the first semester of the first year, the point is mainly to fill in gaps in areas of statistical applied mathematics that you may not have seen in your previous courses.
First semester we take courses over different subjects.
There's a compulsory unit on the theory of statistical applied mathematics. That's a little bit of a taster of the core ideas of different components of SAMBa. And then you have options where you can fill in gaps, say, in statistics, probability, applied math, or numerics.
They will encourage you to take modules which build on possibly some missing knowledge you have, some weaknesses.
For me, I'm doing some stats this year. I've never done some stats before.
We did have a little bit of guidance about which units to choose, and we were encouraged to pick areas that were sort of slightly weaker on. So the idea was really just to kind of have breadth for the first semester.
And second semester, it pivots into more of a research focus. So you'll have two projects to do. One is an individual project, which is more like preparation for your PhD phase. So you'll choose a supervisor, you'll work one-to-one with that supervisor.
Like with everything in SAMBa, there's a lot of flexibility. So if the project isn't right for you, you do have the opportunity to switch around. But the idea is just a sort of introduction to your project and to your supervisor.
It's a great exploratory phase.
There's also a group project where you someone proposes a challenge. It might be a follow-up from an ITT, and then you work on that challenge in a group. And that is not necessarily about gaining a specific mathematical skill, but more research skills.
There's a specific focus on machine learning from sort of my cohort onwards.
In second semester, there's also a maths and machine learning unit,
which I think is quite topical in research generally. So that's definitely a good addition.
Which is really part of Bath's research expertise, so you're not going to get this flavor from other places.
At the same time, we're kind of preparing for the ITTs. So we have the student-led symposia,
which is led by you, the students, but it's about like kind of identifying things you might want to learn about, bringing in external speakers to say teach you about data visualization. It's also where you do preparation for the ITTs, so the company partners come in, you arrange meetings with them and chat about the challenges before the ITTs come at the end of each semester.
When it comes to the events like the ITTs and the SLS, we will contribute something different.
So there is an assessed element to the first year. There are some, especially in first semester, more traditional assessments like programming lab sheets or exams. And then second semester, it's kind of more coursework, presentations, those sorts of assessments. You do have to pass. It is a program, and we have high academic standards. We have a pass threshold of 60% over all of your units, but we're not expecting you to get high marks and everything. It's more about using the time to explore. If we think about the goals of the first year, there's two things. There's technical skills, and then there's more what you might call soft skills.
Coming from a maths and physics background, I didn't get to do quite as much maths as I'd like to do. Only half my undergrad was maths, so definitely just building up my maths skills in general, going in, learning about areas that I might not have got to research during my undergrad.
My expertise prior to joining SAMBa was very narrow, and I wanted to sort of broaden my horizons and learn more about the different interests I have, which are quite varied.
Programming is a big one for me.
The main goal for me is that students can speak the language, or at least understand the language of all of the areas that are under the statistical applied maths umbrella.
And alongside that, I guess, they're described as sort of soft skills, sort of the skills you have around the job. So whether this is sort of maybe command line work on a computer, playing around with Git or something, or maybe getting a bit better at being able to understand sort of how to go about research.
Beyond that, there's also things like speaking in front of an audience as well.
Delivering presentations and communicating maths ideas.
We do have training on writing presentations, also things like how to plan out your work, how to look back on your plan and use that as learning the next time you make a plan. So that kind of way that you approach research to kind of set the groundwork for what you'll be doing for the next 3 years.
I can build all of these different skills and then try and apply them and find something that links them all together.
These are things which will be useful for me in my research, even if it's not directly in the area I'll be working in.